Thank you to Blackview for sending us this sample for review. This is the Blackview Tab11 EEA. It has Android 11 on board, a 10.36-inch screen, 1200 by 2000 FHD, with the biggest battery we've seen in quite some time, at 6,580 milliamps. It also has an Octa-Core 2 GHz processor, front and rear cameras at 8 megapixels and 13 megapixels respectively, 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs onboard storage. This thing is absolutely stacked with specs. The box is extremely high quality with a two-tone print. So this is gloss and this is matte. So they actually had to specifically make this box with the intention of having this raised image right here. It is very high quality. On the inside, there's no foam or anything like that, but that's okay because they actually give you an included case. We're going to put this off to the side, and it looks like the unit is in here as well, and we'll explore the rest of the box prior to showing the unit. We have the Blackview Enjoy Smart Life Tab11 series. This is a company out of Hong Kong, by the way, and they give you multiple languages: English, Polish, French, what have you. This is not a North American charger. This is a European charger with the prongs like that. You can get a extension, or you can just plug this into your computer because it's not proprietary. You do have a USB cable here. It is USB-C, and you have a dongle to do OTG, which means that you can actually put this into the USB port on the unit and plug things into here like SD cards, expandable storage, keyboard, stuff like that. And you have a removal tool for other applications on the unit itself. Let us look at it now because it looks like it has a little bit of a folding origami-esque case. So it does have this folding case right here. You can flip it over like that, and this is the unit itself. We're just going to take this off because this is just for display purposes. Put that over there. This looks well built. This looks very, very nice. You have a 5-pin copper contact point down below with some notches to line it up and stereo speakers. On the other side is nothing because it is in the case. Let's look at the case. It does look like a hard shell plastic, but it isn't. It is actually silicone, which is really nice because that means it won't harm the device, and it's easy to malleable put the device in there. You do have this connected here, so you can't take that off unless you rip it off, and this is a nice inner felt, so it's not going to scratch the screen. On the back, it is a gunmetal gray, which is very, very nice to feel. I really like that, and because we do have bigger camera sensors, bigger camera depths, that you do have a pretty prominent camera bump, and unfortunately there's no other stoppers or anything else to counteract that. So when you do put this down, it is going to lay a little bit wonky, but that's neither here nor there, and it is nice that they've included that. You do have a 3.5mm headphone jack on the side, and it's nicely cut out on this angle, which is really cool. You have a USB-C, you have volume up and down with the power, and on the other side it is completely clean, and up top you have your port here that you would just grab this removal tool, push that in, pull this out. You have a hybrid dual SIM, which means you can put SIM 1 and SIM 2, or SIM 1 and an SD card, but unfortunately you can't do all three because it's just not deep enough. This is Android, so it's going to be pretty much the same as any other tablets when it comes to the layout. When you swipe to the top, you get all of your information, and you get your mobile data if you were to add in your SIM cards. And you can have 2 SIM cards in here, like we said at the beginning of the video. You have your flashlight at the back, and you can also go like this and swipe to the side and do screen recorder, data saver, and even night light, what actually removes a lot of the blue light. We'll keep that off for now. You have bedtime mode as well, which really caters the entire thing towards kind of low light situations, and you do have dark theme as well, so you can flip everything into dark mode and invert the colors. If you look at this, it is pretty much business as usual. You get some preloaded stuff, but not really anything Blackview based. You do get a lot of things that kind of come with the device, like Google services, Fit, Drive, Gmail, and Google. You get some things that are preloaded on here that you actually have to go over to Google Play to get. They're not actually the entire game or application for some of these. It is certified, of course, with Google Play, so all you would do is just click on Google Play and away you go. It just starts working right out of the gates. It works with games, apps, books, TV, and unlike e-readers, for the most part, you don't have to bind it or anything like that. You just put your email, you put your password, and you log in. You can download all the apps you want. It'll be catered to your region. We're conducting this from Japan right now, so a lot of these will be in Japanese. You can download books, ebooks, audiobooks, manga. Of course, Japan prioritizes manga above everything else, so they actually put manga first. You just click on something like that. You can do free sample, you can buy the ebook directly, and it will download directly to your account. If this is the same Google account you've always been logged into, you can actually look through your own things, like the apps that you have, the things that you've downloaded, and re-download them on here. You can see that's me right there, so you can go ahead and just download everything that you've downloaded on other devices as well, because this is all under the same account. As long as it's under the same Gmail account you've logged into, there will be no issues. Same with apps, you can install them directly like that. Look at the screenshots, you can kind of get an idea of what the app looks like. If at any point your commands are gone, you can simply swipe down from the top and your commands will pop up. You can go like that and get away from it from there. Yes, it is quite blue, and that is because when you use LCD LEDs, they are traditionally blue. You can do a few things, you can swipe down from the top, and you can choose night light. And what night light does, it actually takes away a lot of the blue light. You can long press that as well and change the intensity, so you can find a kind of nice even glow and find something that has a little bit of eye safety, where you cut the blue, but not so much that it ends up looking like this, which is this kind of sludge yellow. It is way easier on your eyes, however, it is nice to have a balance. Either way, when you look at this, it is very nice of an experience in terms of the contrast, although, again, drawing parallels to e-paper, because that's why they sent this to us, to kind of show you guys the capabilities of such, you are dealing with something that will strain your eyes long term. It's easier to pinch and zoom, it's easier to turn, you get these cool page curl animations, but it all is going to come down to, do you want to read on an LCD tablet? In terms of answering that question, yes, if you do want to read on LCD tablet, this is fantastic. It looks very, very nice. You can change the text up here. Now, this is all going to be as good as the app you're using. This is just the stock Google Books. You can download anything, Moon Plus Reader, Aldeco, anything you want, and it is going to be a different experience. So if you particularly like a certain Android APK, you can simply sideload it in. You don't have to get it from Google Play, and away you go. It'll just start working right out of the gates. You can do fast travel, you can long press on things like this. Simply long pressing on something, you can make different levels of highlights in terms of color, which is really nice, something that e-paper traditionally doesn't do. You can do translate, copy, you can add things, and you can download additional dictionaries and see things that are already downloaded that are on the device and translated for you up above. As it is a multimedia tablet, it will have TTS, of course, without any issues.
Went into an obscure part of the town where Scrooge had never penetrated before, although he recognized its situation and its bad repute.
This is our benchmark PDF, and you can see it's vastly different from e-readers because this is an LCD LED tablet, so you are able to see things in full color, and unlike e-paper, you can zoom very quickly. There's no need for speed modes, there's no need for reducing the refresh or anything like that, because that's not how LCD LED works. Whether you notice it or not, this is actually flashing anywhere between 24 to 120 times a second, depending on the device, so it's always ready. Nothing needs to kind of go away and regenerate the image and display a new image every time you interact with it. On the downside, even if it's in stasis mode like that, you are using batteries, so that's kind of the trade-off between LCD LED and e-paper. This is really nice though. There's going to be no problem whatsoever other than the glare. It is quite reflective because it is a pure piece of glass, and they unfortunately don't do anything to reduce it, kind of like the Google Nexus tablets back in the day. They did put some sort of coating to reduce the amount of glare. You can easily put a matte screen protector on here, so it's not the end of the world, but it is very high quality. The screen is HD. It does have a very good pixel density. The colors are vibrant. You're going to have no problem getting media on this. You almost have to admit that manga just looks better on LCD tablets. They just do, especially if it's in color. Color e-paper is a thing. It's been around for a decade. It's just not 100% ready, and you can't argue with results. This looks so good. Traditionally, manga is very small, about 6 or 7 inches. However, graphic novels and comic books in North America are traditionally very big and flat. It's the kind of ones you go to a comic book shop and you siphon through them and you pull the one out and you say, wow, I don't have this one. They're very flat, they're very magazine-esque. They're not like a kind of paperback book like a manga is. Although when it is big like this, look at that. That looks so good. Everything is beautifully laid out. It's completely formatted from top to bottom, left to right. There's no big black bars. This looks so good. The quality is high. You don't have to pinch and zoom, although if you wanted to, you could. It's big enough of a screen and it has a lot of screen real estate that you don't need to do that. But it's just a joy to watch color, comic book content, graphic novel content, and not worry about refresh, stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with e-paper and there's nothing wrong with LCD LED. They both have their use case scenarios, and there's a time and a place. For graphic novels, color content, you just can't argue with how good it absolutely looks on screen here.
It's called the BRZ. It stands for, hell, most people don't even know themselves. However, in terms of pop culture popularity, this platform has become one of the most popular cars in the modern era.
The audio is flawless. It's very, very good. There's no peaking, there's no crackling. It doesn't sound like it's going beyond the decibels it's capable of. There are symmetrical speakers as well, but they aren't on the side. And because this is a landscape-oriented device with the placement of the camera, the speakers, and the copper contact points, you would have expected maybe opposing sides around here or cut out of the bezel, because there does seem to be enough space. Unfortunately, they went with a design down below. All the same though, the audio is fantastic. The video, you can't complain with full HD because it is only a 10-inch screen, and I say only, and what I mean by that is if you have 4K, 1080, 720 to a certain degree, on smaller screens, typically it's not that noticeable. For example, if I had 4K or 8K on here, it's going to be so compressed because of the density that you're not going to see a massive difference between the two, but either way, it's looking mighty fine. Devices that run SIM cards have a little bit of trouble with identity. For example, because this has a microphone and speakers and SIM cards, it's essentially a phone, but not really. You don't hold this up to your head, although you kind of can, or else it would be kind of loud, but you can go to phone, and if you did have your SIM cards in here, you could dial a number and you could call them because it's a real phone app. So it's really just a telecommunication method of having a tablet. As long as you hit all the criteria, you have speaker, you have a microphone, you have data, you have some sort of wireless connectivity, you can essentially use it as a telephone. You do get a pair of cameras at the back as well. Now, all things considered, these are decent cameras. You can shoot in 1080 and you can do 4:3 or 16:9 aspect ratios. You also have zoom up top. Now, there is a downside in that tablets very rarely sport very nice cameras because it's mostly reserved for something you have in your pocket at all times, your smartphone. That's why you'll see tablets always kind of showing you different specs and different promotional things when it comes to advertisement, aside from cameras, because for the most part they're not stacked with very nice tech. This one's decent. It does shoot in 1080. You can do some zooms. You have 2 cameras at the back and a front-facing camera for Zoom calls. It's nice to mix it up every once in a while and do a full review on a tablet. And we couldn't ask for a better one than this. Blackview is a lesser known company compared to LG, Samsung, and the like, but it's not lesser spec'd out. In fact, the specs are completely competitive and it has one of the largest batteries we've ever come across. If you want to grab one of these, they're available down below, and for Goody Reader Tech, thanks for watching.